Hi, yeah, what if time. I'm gonna be talking at the end of the video. Let's just get into the video. Okay, this what if is what if Deku was Snake Eyes. In this what if, Izuku will remain quirkless until further notice. And yeah, let's just get into the video. Okay, we start the video a year before Izuku is born. Hisashi and Inko have been trying for the last 3 years to have a child, but it ended up failing and they adopted a 6 month old baby which they named or renamed Izumi. And after a month of them having Izumi, Inko found out that she was pregnant with Izuku. Now Izuku would be born as normal, same green hair, green eyes, blah blah blah. Let's move on to further down in his life. Now Izuku would be not six, 7 months younger than Izumi, and at this point they are three. Izumi would bully Izuku because she actually got her quirk earlier than anybody else. Her quirk is purple flames. They're essentially almost as hot as Dobby's cremation flames or blue flames, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't give a fuck. Um, yeah, they're like a couple degrees less hot as his. So yeah, Izumi has actually been bullying Izuku, and Katsuki has been standing up for Izuku because all three of them go to the same um kindergarten. So Katsuki actually defends Izuku until the day his quirk awakens, which he thinks he's the shit. He thinks he's better than everyone. He thinks he's the alpha, and after a week of him developing his quirk, he actually developed a crush on Izumi, and the two of them began to terrorize Deku for the rest of his life. Now, his parents, at the age of 4.5, his parents don't really care that he's coming home with burn marks and Izumi's literally bullying him in front of them. They don't care anymore about Izuku. Izuku's quirkless and useless. They are completely materialistic. They only wanted to take care of him to see if he would have a powerful quirk as his adopted sister. Now, time skip. Izuku is 5. He has been getting bullied and harassed by his sister and Bakugo for a couple years now. And actually, they are now at a fair. They ended up having fun, and Izuku was questioning why his parents were suddenly being so nice to him, but he soon found out why. After 30 minutes of his parents and carrying Izumi to the bathroom and leaving Izuku to play that little game that you get the plastic thing and catch the fish. That after 30 minutes, the fair had began to close. Izuku never saw his parents again. He ended up wandering around in the forest for a couple days until he eventually passed out. And then, after about 5 hours, an old man ended up finding him. The old man didn't say anything. He just took Izuku and brought him to a cabin, where he looked after Izuku for another 2 days. Time skip. Izuku's view. Izuku had just woken up. He had woken up in a strange cabin, and he didn't hear anything. He then got up and went outside, where he saw a old man sitting down, not doing anything. The old man looked at Izuku. I'll describe the old man's features. He has gray hair, as any old person has, and he has a scar that goes from his top right eye to his bottom left cheek. And the old man proceeded to look at Izuku, not exchanging a as I was saying, the old man proceeded to look at Izuku, not exchanging a single word with the young child. "Excuse me, sir. Where am I? And who are you?" The old man still not saying anything. Izuku being quiet for the next 10 seconds before the old man got up and motioned for Izuku to follow him. Him bringing Izuku into the kitchen and providing food for him, making eggs and sausage and a slice of toast. Giving it to Izuku with a cup of chocolate milk. As Izuku proceeded to eat breakfast, the old man went into a shed. Not a shed, into a closet that he had. Him proceeding to take out a little what do you call those? Whiteboards, because we don't use that out here. We use chalkboards. He proceeded to take out a whiteboard and a marker, proceeding to write down that he is mute and he is not able to talk. He asked Izuku what his name is. Izuku proceeding to say, "My name is Izuku Midoriya," and Izuku asking for his name. And the old man just says, "My name is Michael Arashikage, or you could just call me Snake Eyes." And Izuku saying, "Snake Eyes? What's that?" From now on, I'll basically be saying what Snake Eyes is telling Izuku, but keep this in mind: Snake Eyes is mute; he cannot talk. Sorry for that cutting out. I'm outside in the cold recording this because inside of my house is very noisy, and you might hear the dogs. I'm doing this on my phone. I can't muffle out the sound so you only can hear me, so yeah, I have to deal with it because I don't really give a fuck right now. Okay, back to the story. Like I was saying, I'll basically be saying what Snake Eyes is writing to Izuku. He says, "Yes, Snake Eyes, that is my old army name." "You were in the army?" "Yes, I was. I was in the special forces, you could say." "Oh, that's cool." Him proceeding to ask Izuku, "What do you want to be, kid?" Izuku saying, "I want to be a hero, but I'm quirkless." Snake Eye saying, "And what does that have to do with anything? You could be a police officer, you could be a soldier, or you could be a person who works in the medical field." "No, I want to be a hero like All Might. I want to be a great hero that people could look up to and always has a smile on his face." Snake Eyes proceeding to be puzzled by this. Him not knowing what to do with Izuku, but he sees Izuku's determination, the gleam in his eyes, wanting to protect someone who needs to be protected. "Okay, kid, I'll train you in my ways, and hopefully the training that I give you will help you to become a hero. But just know that you have a choice. Either you could not accept my training, I help you find your parents, or you can accept my training and live here with me." Izuku choosing to accept Snake Eyes' training. Now, as soon as Izuku finished with his food, Snake Eyes immediately went and got 4 5-pound weights, strapping them onto Izuku's body, and basically giving Izuku basic exercises to do. Because Snake Eyes doesn't care that much that he's a little kid. He just wants to train him and teach him how to get stronger. So this is what he basically does. Gives Izuku 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, 25 squats, 25 pull-ups, 25 chin-ups, and basically repeats that after a 10-minute break every interval. And Izuku basically does that for the first year, building up quite a bit of muscle mass for a little kid, being the size of he's basically not the size of a normal 6-year-old, because at this point Izuku is 6. Now, Snake Eyes will immediately teach Izuku in hand-to-hand combat. Not really teaching him the Arashikage fighting style yet, but just basic soldier hand-to-hand combat and how to use a knife in his on when he's 6, teaching him hand-to-hand combat, and when he's 7, teaching him how to use a knife, because he will need this in his next training. Now, the next training that Izuku would be put through is basically wilderness training. Snake Eyes would give Izuku a sleeping bag and basically a canteen, and tells Izuku to go out into the forest, and he'll be observing him for a year, seeing how Izuku does living in the wild by himself. Basically just teaching Izuku wilderness training at this point. Because if you look up Snake Eyes' abilities, like I did, even though I like him as a character, and he's probably my favorite character out of every series that I watch, hand down, he was taught in basically everything that I'm about to give Deku. So yeah, and this video will probably be 35 minutes, depending on if the cold doesn't get to me. Back to the video. Um, so yeah, on Izuku's ninth birthday, because Snake Eyes eventually extended the wilderness training to teach Deku to hone his skills better. After Izuku had turned 9, he would had been broken, mentally and physically. Now, a little recap. Izuku's wilderness training would eventually be him catching fish, learning how to get his own water, cleaning for himself, and basically living off the wild. And in that space of the 1.5 year leading up to Izuku becoming 9, he would have had to kill 6 deer, 15 wolves, and about 2 bears. One being 10 foot tall and about 280 pounds. This was a very lean bear. I don't fucking know. Okay, I'm just saying how it is. And the other one being a 15-foot tall bear weighing over 466 pounds. Izuku would have had to taking that out by himself, and Izuku getting a little hurt. But after each fight, Snake Eyes would have provided Izuku with medical aid. And that would be his next training. Now, from Izuku's 9 to 10, he would have been taught in the medical arts and a bit of skills, and preferably my favorite skill that Snake Eyes has, the Burning Phoenix, or I might have butchered it. It's something to do with the Rising Phoenix. It's basically where Snake Eyes pretends to be dead. He allows his opponent to get any vital or critical damage in on him and pretends to be dead. It lasts up to, in Snake Eyes' case, up to an hour. He can pretend to be dead for an hour, but Izuku only mastered it where he could pretend to be dead for at least 3 minutes. Now, after Izuku hit his 11th birthday, because Snake Eyes gave him a year off of training, Izuku would eventually be taught swordsmanship. Izuku training with Snake Eyes honestly kicking his ass, and Izuku learning how to properly use a sword. Now, the next year, being Izuku's 12th birthday, Izuku would be taught in weapons training, basically guns and grenades and stuff like that. Now, Izuku would be taught in the other abilities that Snake Eyes have. I'll basically just time skip instead of me just listing it off. I'll just list off everything that Izuku was taught. Izuku was taught in demolition, pyrotechnics, um, more weight training, how to use eskrima sticks, more weapons training, and eventually being taught the Arashikage fighting style. Not the sword style, just the fighting style. And at this point, he's 15. If you didn't figure it out, UA is a college. He's 15, 16 at this point, and Izuku was being taught the Arashikage fighting style, being taught how to use a shooting star, a ninja star. I almost said shooting star. I hadn't slept in 3 days. Being taught how to use the ninja star, um, a scythe, a bow staff, and other weapons like that. And now we move on to Izuku being the final years of his training, doing more weight training and being taught in the Arashikage sword style. The sword style that the Arashikage use is basically different from basically other sword styles, and Izuku ended up learning the Arashikage sword style in about until he's 17, where Snake Eyes would take the last year teaching Izuku how to become a proper ninja, teaching him meditations, chi control, and how to better focus his attacks and how to read his opponent's movements. At this point, Izuku would had been molded into basically a second Snake Eyes. He doesn't talk unless he wants to, and he doesn't talk unless he wants to. As if you know about Snake Eyes is fucking, he doesn't talk. Some people speculate that Snake Eyes can talk, he just doesn't, but he mostly uses body language and sign language. So yeah, let's move on. Now let's recap to two shitbags that will basically get fucked in this story that I'm doing. Now, Izumi would had been happy that her parents got rid of Izuku, but she would have ended up losing her main favorite play toy. And she would have actually missed him, but not in the way that you think. She would miss him how she used to bully him and treat him. Now, her parents treating her like a little spoiled brat, she barely trained, and she thought she was the best because her quirk was strong. But she would had started training at the age of 17, so she could be able to get into the UA college. Same goes for Bakugo. He was basically the king of his middle school, and he was top of the class academically with, what is her fucking name? I forgot. Izumi being second fiddle to him. But in the basis of quirks, they are both equal. This Bakugo is actually weaker because he didn't have Deku to train his explosions on, because if you know, he basically uses explosions every fucking time he saw Izuku. So yeah. Goomba! That's my cat. He mostly stays outside in the night. The fucking cold is getting to me. Fuck. Anyway, let's get back to the what if. Now, I guess some of you are wondering, what about Izuku's, what about his academics? What about his academics, huh? What does he look like now? Shut the fuck up. Izuku's academics is basically taken over by Snake Eyes, because if you don't know, Snake Eyes is a fucking genius. He's a tactician, he's a mathematician, and he's pretty fucking smart. He's probably the smartest G.I. Joe that I fucking know of. Now, if you're wondering what part of the timeline this is, because I know I'm jumping all over the place, my brain isn't working that much right now, and I'm pretty fucking pissed off. And I don't know what to do. So, yeah. Okay, back to the story. Now, as we get to the sad part of the story, Snake Eyes has basically his mental health and health has been deteriorating over the years, and he has been training Izuku to be his successor in a way. If you wonder how Izuku is now, basically look at the picture of him in the Snake Eyes costume. That's basically Izuku's body build, and he's 6 foot. So him and Ida, he's about 2 inches taller than Ida, or him and Ida are the same height. I don't fucking know. Let's just get it over with, cause I want to go inside. I want to sleep. Sleep has been calling me for the last 3.5 days. Oh, fuck. Back to the what if. Snake Eyes is on his deathbed, and he eventually knows that he's dying, and he didn't want to leave Izuku at this young of an age. And Snake Eyes would use his final breaths to actually say something to Izuku. Izuku, you've been a good adopted son. I wasn't able to have children, but I'm glad I found you. And I'm glad to see what you've become. I know it's been hard, but I'm proud to call you my son, Izuku. I've written a note. It's to my friend at UA. If you give it to him, he'll allow you to stay there. I know you want to become a hero, and I would like to see you become a hero that saves everyone with a smile. As Snake Eyes dies right there in front of Izuku. And Izuku in years actually cries. He cries for about 2 hours, moaning the death of his father in his eyes. Now, Izuku would spend the rest of the week basically preparing Snake Eyes' body to be buried, making a grave, and burying Snake Eyes, and doing a pretty good job making a good grave and a good gravestone for Snake Eyes before he headed off on his journey. Now, Izuku would have packed his stuff and packed his suit and his weapons, but if he needed anything, he would just come back to the cabin, because honestly, from the cabin to UA, it's about 30 minutes for him, because he inherited Snake Eyes' vehicle. And yes, he had vehicle training. Any vehicle under the sun, Izuku can use it and use it to his best capability. Now, time skip. It's the UA entrance exam, and I'll just skip over Izuku meeting Nezu. If you're getting heated in the comments, I don't give a fuck. I'm tired. Leave me the fuck alone. And you guys, not those of you who watched you know which video, I fucking love you guys who supported that video, but for the other guys who just came here for fucking cheated, you guys expect me to only do one fucking series? Are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Anyway, back to the story. I'm skipping over him meeting Nezu. Basically, yada yada yada. Nezu implements the dorms because it already was implemented by the year prior. So Izuku's basically living in the dorms and he's in class 1A. You're just getting into the entrance exam. Now, Bakugo would walk in actually being nervous because he heard that there would be pretty high ranking students from other schools coming here and he wasn't aware of their quirks. Him actually managing the trip, but before he could use his explosions to get his footing, a brunette girl would end up touching him, making him float. Him having a conversation with her, and him not really making a good first impression. Him shouting and asking, "You dumbass bitch! Why the hell would you do that? You know I could have done that myself." And Uraka basically not saying anything, just putting him up straight and releasing her quirk. God, I have a lot of editing to do. Oh, fuck. Anyway, she releases her quirk and walks in. And Izumi was actually behind Bakugo, laughing her ass off, because she thought that was hilarious. As basically, I'm just skipping over this because nobody really came here for this part. I'm trying to get up to at least them getting into the USJ. I don't give a fuck if the story's moving fast, just bear with me. I'm fucking tired and I'm outside in the cold, so just bear with me. I'm not in anything but a fucking shorts and no t-shirt, just socks and my slips. So yeah. Anyway, this is basically what's going to happen. Bakugo got first, and Izumi got second, and Uraka still ended up getting into 1A because she ended up helping people, even though the impression that Bakugo made on her kind of set her back by that, but she actually helped people by running up behind robots that were going to that are going to hurt them, making them float, and then helping up the person and allowing the person to destroy the robots, getting a good amount of hero points. Now, we move to the first day of 1A. Izuku has a bit of changes. His hair is now dyed black, he has black contacts in, and that's basically it. He just changed his hair color and his eye colors to black. Not really wanting to show his face, but he mainly knows that Izumi probably might be in 1A. And he actually had his name changed. But Izumi will recognize him because just bullshit. Okay, now Izuku's actually the first one there, and he actually meets Aizawa. Aizawa proceeding to have a conversation with him, but Izuku never really answering Aizawa, just shaking his head and using a bit of body language to insinuate that he's actually interested in the conversation. Him proceeding to walk to the back of the class and watches while everyone filters in after him being there for about 10 minutes. Now, we get to 3 people walking in. Ida would walk in along with Bakugo not too long behind, probably about 30 seconds after he got there. After Ida got there, Bakugo would have ended up in the class. Now, Ito would have been sitting down at this point, but Bakugo would throw his feet up on the table and doing his basic stick, and then proceeding to have their argument like in canon. And Izumi would end up walking into the class. Her standing in the door and looking in, and she actually sees someone who she thinks is familiar for some reason, but she never knew why. But to her, he looked pretty cute, even though she didn't know who he was. And I'm not saying Bakugo didn't recognize this person. He did, but he didn't care. He wanted to assert his dominance, as he said it in his mind. Now, Izumi would have walked in and seeing Bakugo and Iga arguing, and Bakugo would look at her and scoff, her saying, "Wow, they even let angry Pomeranians into this class. Who knew?" And Bakugo immediately saying, "What the hell, Izumi? I told you not to come to this school. Now I'm gonna have to kick your ass." "Oh yeah? You and that little pop stick quirk of your pop rock quirk? You really think you could do something about this? I'll burn you alive, Bakugo." "Oh yeah? I'd like to see you try." "You think you're so cocky with your little fire quirk, but I've been training. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be, and I'm gonna kick your ass and beat everyone here and show that I'm the next #1 hero." Izuku actually letting out a bit of a chuckle. And everyone would immediately look at him because, as far as everyone's concerned, he never said a word and never showed any side of emotion. But all of a sudden, he's chuckling. Izuku would immediately not really be awkward about it, and he just stopped chuckling and proceeding to mind his own business again. Bakugo getting insulted, and Izumi not really caring, getting as close of a seat as any to Izuku, being at least a seat in front of him. Her proceeding to try and talk to him, but him not saying a word. And the last person would eventually get into the class, being Ochako. Ochako would immediately sit down, her not having anyone to talk to in this timeline. And Aizawa would basically get up, saying, "It took you guys at least 10 seconds to be quiet. That won't do. We at least have to turn you into proper heroes by the next 3 years, and you all need all the time you can get. Now, put these on and head out to the training ground Gamma." Ochako saying, "What about orientation?" Him basically saying what he said in canon, and Izuku being the first person to get up, as everyone would walk out following. And Izuku and the others would make it to the boys' changing room. Kirishima noticing how ripped Izuku is. Not really ripped like lean and focus on speed, but also strength. Kirishima trying to spark up a conversation with Izuku, but Izuku not budging, not saying a word. Putting on his school uniform and heading outside. Him actually being the first person out there. But someone would notice something, Todoroki at least. Todoroki would notice that every time Izuku stepped, he couldn't hear anything. He couldn't sense anything from Izuku. Him proceeding to wonder. But now we get outside. Bakugo throwing the ball, getting a little bit higher than his canon score. I believe his canon score was 705, and this score being 805 because they're a lot older, and he would have a little time to train. Now, them proceeding to go in down the register, and Ochako getting her score, and Izumi getting a little lower than Bakugo, getting 800. Her using her flames to propel the ball further. Now they would get to the last person. Izuku Arashikage, and Izumi and Bakugo ears perked up when they heard that name, them wondering, Izuku? Them saying the first name sounds the same, but the last name's different. And plus his hair color and eye color are completely different from the Izuku we know. And them proceeding to watch carefully. Izuku proceeding to get up to the circle and Aizawa saying, "Oh, you're quirkless." Izuku nodding his head. Aizawa basically telling him, just throw the ball as far as you can, no worries. Izuku actually taking the ball and throwing it, shocking everyone. Him getting 450. Now let me explain. Izuku basically used all his strength and shift his weight of his center of gravity with his feet, sending the shockwave and pressure of it through his body, sending it through his hand and focusing it through the last point of contact, getting a high score. And this shocks everyone. Wait, he's quirkless? How is a quirkless person that strong? And Izumi and Bakugo getting irritated. Ugh, it can't be. Bakugo saying, how the hell? He's quirkless as well? This can't be the same person. Izumi saying, maybe this is Izuku, but I'll have to see for sure. As they proceed to get the rest of, as they proceed to do the rest of the tests, with Izuku either getting in third or fourth, not dropping below fifth, shocking everyone that a quirkless person has that much skill, all while not saying anything or not even breaking a sweat. And in the race, Aizawa, Todoroki, Bakugo, and Ito would notice that Izuku was using a maximum amount of force and speed, but not making a single sound, or them not being able to pick up a single sound in any of his movements. Them wondering what type of training this person might have done. And them basically getting throughout the day. Izumi, after school, proceeding to walk and follow Izuku. And Izuku ended up going into Nezu's office. Nezu talking to Izuku, and Izumi actually eavesdropping. Nezu actually using Izuku's real name. Izuku Midoriya, I read the letter that Snake Eyes gave to you to give me, and I got to say, you ended up finishing his training in record success. Most people who do the Arashikage training don't really do it in the rapid success rate that you have, and not with as much skill as you have demonstrated, according to Aizawa's report in the Quirk apprehension test today. Izuku not saying a word. And Nezu proceeding to say, I see you've picked up Snake Eyes' tendencies to be quiet. Anyway, I hope to see you do good things in this school, and I hope to see you become a great hero someday in request of your late foster father. Izumi hearing that and immediately running off, with Izuku nodding and leaving the office. We cut to Izumi being home. Hi mom, hi dad. Hello Izumi dear. How's your first day at school? It was okay, but I have some news. I found Izuku today. What? Where did you see that helpless trash? I thought he was dead. He couldn't have survived, especially on the streets. Where did you see him? He was in UA, but his name was changed. His name is Izuku Arashikage now, and I heard him and the principal talking about someone named Snake Eyes, who I guess is his foster father. And the principal talking about some form of training that Izuku did with rapid success. And he actually got a pretty high score in the apprehension test that we did today. Out of 21 children, he got at least 4th place, landing underneath me, Bakugo, and some kid named Shoto Todoroki. And them being immediately appalled at this, them proceeding to say, we'll come to your school tomorrow and see what's going on. We skip to the next day. It's a hero versus villains day. And All Might busting into the door saying his normal stick, the clothes make the pros, and you are proof of that. And everyone proceeding to be outside wearing their costumes. Izumi's costume basically being a purple version of Izuku's costume, but without the bunny ears and just a hood and a skirt and basically fireproof gloves. And everyone waiting, and All Might saying, wait, there's one student missing. And Izuku immediately stepping out. In the costume you see him in the picture. Everyone immediately saying, whoa, that's badass. and Izuku not saying anything. Everyone just seeing him with his full costume, grenades, swords, and his two twin pistols. Him not saying anything, and All Might proceeding to carry on with the exam. Now the teams will be Izuku and Uraraka versus Izumi and Bakugo. Uraraka trying to make a plan with Izuku just getting out a notepad and writing down what he wants to say. I'll be saying what he says now. Okay, I know what your quirk is, and I know the perfect way that we can use it. You need to float yourself onto the roof, and I'll just climb up and we'll go in from the top, because I'm pretty sure that Bakugo would immediately try and rush towards us. We can easily take out Izumi and win this. Uraraka agreeing and them proceeding to head through the roof. Izuku climbing up the walls while Uraraka floats up there. Izuku cutting down the door and listening while he sees Bakugo flying past, rushing to get to the front looking for Izuku. Screaming, "Deku! You bastard!" And that's basically what happens. Izuku finding the room that Izumi's in and immediately takes out one of his laser blasters, basically being his twin pistol, setting it to stun and hitting Izumi 3 times in her back with it, stunning her but not taking her down. Her proceeding to launch her flames at Izuku and him keeping her busy, cutting through the flames, because if you know Snake Eyes' swords, they can cut through lasers. They're a sword made out of very strong metal that Snake Eyes made himself, handcrafted blade. Sorry if you heard that. Let's get back. Now, while Izuku is keeping Izumi busy, Uraraka snuck in and touched the bomb. And this is what Bakugo heard when he was on his way to come back. Hero team wins! Them proceeding to win, and Bakugo immediately getting infuriated, trying to rush at Izuku, but Izuku sidestepped them every time. Bakugo saying, "Deku, you bastard! Where were you? You little shit! I'll fucking kill you!" Izuku not saying anything. Walking back to the control room, and Bakugo coming down, not wanting to make a scene in front of All Might. As the day would go on, Izumi's parents would actually be waiting outside of UA gates, and they would be waiting there for 30 minutes until Izuku would walk out wearing a white t-shirt, some shorts, and his classic red shoes. Him walking to go buy something from the store. Him seeing Izumi, but it actually being a trap. Izumi gesturing for him, waving at him, but he was just ignoring her, walking the opposite way. Their parents jumping out and saying, "Izuku, where have you been? And how dare you come to UA without a quirk, you quirkless trash. We thought we got rid of you." Izuku looking at them and not saying anything. As his mother would proceed to say, "How dare you not answer your father, you worthless piece of garbage. We knew that we should have aborted when we had the chance, but we gave you a chance and had you, suspecting that you would be something good. But no, you are just a worthless piece of garbage that we should have killed a long time ago." Izuku actually getting angry and saying, "Look, I'm not a part of your family anymore. My real dad, who I considered my dad, died about a month ago. He was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm actually glad that you guys left me there, because I actually met the one person who I could relate to. And your daughter, she's a piece of shit. I can easily take her down if I wanted to. But I'm just letting you know this now. I don't care what you think of me, and I don't care what you do. But if you ever insult me or insult anyone I care about, I'm going to fucking kill you." Izuku walking away. His parents getting angered at this, and Izumi, she feels something. She doesn't know what she feels. Her heart's beating fast, and her not knowing what's happening. Her developing a crush on Izuku. What are you doing, Max?" "I'm doing what must be done to give Izuku the greatest backstory that ever was, even though my brain's running on 2%. I'll actually be ending the video here. I'll start it back, I guess, on Saturday when I'm recording Cheated Part 5. And I got some things to get off my chest. For those of you who had watched the 100 subscriber special, thanks, I really appreciate it. And to those who didn't watch it, fuck you. Because you guys really expect me to only fucking do cheated. You guys have to understand, I can't milk that fucking series. It's the series that got me the fame I have now, even though I don't fucking want the fame. I'm grateful for that, but don't fucking expect me to do cheated forever. I can't milk it, and I'm not going to read the fucking manga. I'm a freaking casual. I watch the fucking dubs of anime. I only watch the subs when I have nothing better to do. So don't expect shit, because this shit doesn't pay me. I might do what my boy Ivan's doing and not record for an entire fucking 6 days or weeks and see how you guys like that. But I'm being generous and wasting my time when I should be studying and standing out in the fucking cold outside with a fucking cat who's clawing at my feet. I'm basically in a bad mood. I hadn't slept in the past 3 days, so yeah. Thanks again for those of you who watched the 100k special, the 100 sub special. Fuck, 2 brain cells. And yeah, probably the next time I'll do a special is probably when I hit 500. I won't be doing specials that often, so don't expect much. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. For those of you who are in the Discord, with only 2 people at the moment, I can't believe you guys didn't fucking join the Discord after I wasted my time making it. But anyway, for those of you who are in the Discord, yeah, just help me out. I need ideas. So yeah, I have what ifs that I made thumbnails for that I haven't done. I'm thinking of doing them, but I'll just see where it goes from here. I'll try and find them. The